Green is the new gold. Our 18-hole Nicklaus design, award-winning golf course and clubhouse will leave you green with envy. We don't just say, we do. It's the Stain City way.
This is Real Talk with Anele coming to you live on SABC3 from Stain City. So we celebrated Freedom Day yesterday, and I trust you all had a fantastic day in celebration of the giants that came before us to bear the fruits of our freedom. Our guest today is our first repeat offender. It's her second time here. Nobody else has been on Real Talk twice, but she has, okay? She's on Trending SA on SABC3. She's also on Newsist. She's on radio, and she stars on a sitcom Soap on a Rope. She is Nina Hasty, also known as Noma Nina Kazi. She's in the building.
Hey, what's cracking?
Well done for coming for a second time, just by the way.
Thank you.
First ever.
For real?
Yeah, everyone else has been here first once, and we don't want them back.
How about that?
Don't tell them I said that. Though.
Okay, cool.
That I said that.
We love everyone.
We do.
Equally, and we also discriminate equally and fairly against everyone. That's stupid.
That is stupid. I like the fact that you added that in. So, somebody in Mexico's got your Twitter handle.
Guy, what is that? And it's been like that for a while.
Because I went to go look, and I was like, why is she called that Nina Hasty? Surely there's a story to it.
There is a story. So in 2009, I set up my Twitter account. I was living in Cape Town. No one really was tweeting at that time.
No, there were no birds.
And also it was kind of like, I was like, what kind of name must I come up with? I don't know. I'm trying to be creative. I don't know. And then Kagiso always used to be like, that Nina Hasty. Then she came here, and then that Nina Hasty. Did you hear that? What that Nina Hasty did this time? Like, I was always doing silly things, and I became that Nina Hasty. And then, I don't know. I thought it was cute. Then I think the Mexican thing came afterwards, because in 2009, that is when Barack Obama started following me.
Barack Obama follows you?
Dog. Certified. Check my Twitter handle. Check my Twitter handle. Barack follows me on Twitter.
What?
Who am I? I'm Nina Hasty. I'm
okay,
that
you're
Nina Hasty.
that Nina.
Correct.
Oh, which Nina Hasty? The one Barack Obama follows.
Correct. Yeah.
But wait, he had to hand that account over to Trump, so now Trump follows you.
No. That was POTUS.
Oh,
The
his
Barack
real account.
Obama official.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was weird. I think low-key that the CIA was managing that at the time, because I was tweeting a lot about North Korea. I went through a stage where I was very obsessed with Korean politics.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I don't know.
So, Nina Wiggett.
Yes. You do your research. Who are you?
How are you Nina Wiggett, and when does it become Nina Hasty?
Wow. I'm so impressed. Thank you. My parents got divorced when I was 2. Both my parents got remarried and are still happily married, and both parents have their own families, etc. My parents gave me the option. My stepdad adopted me.
Yeah.
His surname was Hasty.
All right.
So I became Nina Hasty at age 10. I had the option to choose change my name or not. And we thought, as a family unit, if we're all going to live together and we're all going to do family things together, it would be a wiser thing to change
and
my
it's also
my
just
surname.
easier to travel abroad.
Exactly.
When you're not Wiggett and everyone else is Hasty.
All of those things. And
but
whatever.
now, as a child, are you aware of the decisions that you're making, or you just like, stepdad is cool, I'll take your surname?
At age 10, I was already doing like standard 7 physics. I think I could have handled those kinds of decisions.
You are quite smart.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain is like completely enormous. Some parts of it work very well.
You actually Matilda.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's who you are. You've got like powers and stuff.
Yeah, I try and move things with my mind all the time. And then people just think I'm crazy.
Serbia. Were you born there? Were you born in Pretoria?
I was born in Pretoria.
Okay.
My grandparents are my grandmother's from Belgrade. My grandfather is from Crna Gora, Montenegro, but actually grew up in Dubrovnik, which is now Croatia. It's like a whole, where you've been there.
I love Croatia.
I know, every time I see, I've never been. I was like, this lady went to my homeland before me.
It is the best
Is it the
place
most
you'll
beautiful
ever go.
place?
And especially if you say your grandfather grew up
Yeah.
there and you've got ties to it. It's like a beautiful old age home.
Exactly. I've still got cousins there, so I've still got family in Croatia.
So you've got accommodation
Yeah, I've
there.
got accommodation.
So all you need to do is pay for a flight.
Guys, it's just, it was an emotional, it's an emotional thing. I was so scared that if I went, I'd never come back.
You won't come back.
Yeah.
The food's good, everything's kind of cheap, the
exactly.
water's clear.
The men are beautiful.
The men are gentlemen. Girl, you think you like black men.
Yeah, no. I just like men that share my politics. It's just that it happens that more men of color share my politics than men that don't have melanin.
So what were your politics when you were doing ping pong?
Yo, this girl does her research. I was 13.
And ping pong is a radio
Ping
show.
Pong, it was a radio show on Radio Ripple, a
Radio
community
Ripple.
station, Radio Ripple, on the drive with 90.5. I forget what that guy's name was. I forget his name. And the auntie that I used to do the show with, Rina
Yes.
Snyder. She used to,
Of
she used to
radio.
fax me the script
Wow.
in her handwriting. She's writing cursive.
But how do you get on, like I understand KTV because it's a
Yeah.
kids channel. We're going to
Yeah.
get to that just now. But how do you get on Radio Ripple?
It's actually quite a weird story. So I had this friend, we're still friends, Matt Satner. Matt Satner was a DJ. He started DJing when he was 13. He had CDs and stuff.
Wiki.
And I was into arts and stuff. And I think he had a major crush on me at the time. And he went for this audition. They had open auditions for young people to go and do a radio show on Radio Ripple. Oh, Radio Ripple. And I was just supposed to like cuppa him to the thing. And then I
you're
landed
that
up getting
friend.
the job and he didn't. Then I landed up bringing him in as my producer DJ. And then we landed up doing the show together for quite a while. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, we were in Standard 5 doing a radio show, playing like,
Getting money. Did you get paid?
no, it was community station. It was just getting the
Okay.
experience. We were playing Alanis Morissette on Skunk and Nancy, like on a Monday night as 13-year-olds.
Angsty teenagers on a radio show.
Totally, it was great.
And then you were the voiceover person for KTV.
Yeah.
Did you ever get Simba surprised?
No, and I keep speaking to Pubby about this. I'm like, and then,
Pubs,
you know, what's
it
up with
broke
that?
my heart
Yeah.
every week where I'd watch some other snot-faced kid have they wrestle with Simba. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, when are they coming?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
But you did voiceovers. Like, I remember you said, you used to do Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter's Lab, Wednesdays, 4:30 only on KTV, and those kinds of voices. I remember being in one of the things, and I tagged it. It was supposed to be KTV, and I tagged it 5FM.
Oh.
At the time, I was just because I so badly wanted to be on 5FM. I wanted to
Okay.
be on radio from such a young age. But yeah, so I did KTV voices for a bit, and landed up doing. I think I was still in high school when I was doing YFM.
Okay, that makes you money though.
Yes, voiceovers.
Okay,
Yeah.
at least.
That's
So when
kind
did you
of-
start earning money? Because I feel like you're a child star,
Yeah, but nobody really knows. I'm a low-key child star.
which is good because child stars.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also fit into the whoa vibe. So then you are a child star.
Yeah, luckily, social media wasn't a thing when I was wonky, so that's cool.
So you're a child star. You have your black belt in karate at 13 years old. You're on radio. You're doing voiceovers on TV. You're at school. You're running for junior mayor, and you're upset that you didn't get junior mayor.
I didn't get junior mayor and I didn't get head girl. Devastation. Like my world crumbled. I had a 5-year nervous breakdown after that. I'm telling you, like I just couldn't cope with the fact that because your whole life you're gearing up to this thing. You're on the SRC, the first team hockey, you're in the lead in the musical, you're doing the things, you're getting the grades.
Did you get deputy head girl?
I was a prefect, just
Okay,
like
yeah.
just a prefect.
No, then your mom should have made the bacon in the morning.
No, my parents should have paid for the lapa, like everyone else's parents.
Like everyone else's parents were paying for the lapa and the pavilion. Okay?
You know what I'm saying? The pavilion.
For us, it was the pavilion.
It was
if your
also the
parents paid for the pavilion or the lights in the pavilion, you would be head girl. Listen, time for a quick ad break. When we return, Nina Hasty chats to us about life as a white female in stand-up comedy, the scene, and her journey to the top. Stay with us. I know you want to. No, babe, for us, it was the pavilion. Welcome back. Nina Hasty keeping me in stitches. So she's one half of the expensive breakfast on Touch HD. Today she's with me. Interact with us, please, on Twitter. She is at that Nina Hasty, but I mean it's at Real Talk on 3. She's laughing at me because I went to a primary school called Eitzach, right? So it was an Afrikaans primary school. But she's the one who was on Radio Ripple.
On the drive of 90.5.
You're such a chop. So, if you had to introduce yourself, what leads first? Hi, I'm Nina. Okay, I hate telling people what you do when you introduce yourself. Let's say you're at a team building.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Much
Yes,
better, ne?
yes,
And then
yes.
you must stand up and say, 30 seconds, tell us about yourself.
I'm Nina Hasty. I'm a stand-up comedian. At the moment, I'm working on diversifying my portfolio in order to grow my brand so that I can have a long-standing stand-up comedy career.
Okay, so there we go. So everything else that you're doing, the TV, the radio, that's just making sure that your comedy lasts longer.
Correct.
How?
By creating awareness. Okay, as much as, okay, so look, I'm a white person. I will always be privileged. No matter what I do, I will be privileged. Someone in my family is always gonna be rich. Even if I do nothing and I completely fail at life, there's some cousin whose couch I can go and sleep on.
Or you can go to Dubrovnik, just one flight.
You know what I'm
You're outta
saying?
here.
Whatever the case may be. However, having chosen entertainment as a white female is possibly one of the most challenging spaces. Because, and I say yes to progress in this space, it is the only place where affirmative action is actually
in action.
in action.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but it has its own challenges.
Yeah.
So
Do you not think that's a numbers thing? Because there are more black people in the country,
Absolutely,
and
but-
they want us to switch the TV on and see black people.
absolutely, but that should be prevalent in every other industry, but it isn't.
But it isn't.
So
True.
it's the only place that affirmative action is properly sort of enforced and all the rest of it. And
I
it's
hear what
wonderful
you're
and it's appropriate. What that means is briefs will come in and someone wants you to MC a function. There is never a brief that comes in. We would like an obscure white girl from Pretoria to MC our function.
Preferably with the Serbian
With
background.
a Serbian background and a black belt in karate. If she's this big, that's great.
and
you
a
know?
tattoo on her thigh.
Yeah, exactly.
Never that.
I'm not the brief. So I had to, or my decision was, I am going to create myself a brand and a personality that has been introduced to the country that supersedes what predecessors or precedes me in terms of gender, race, etc.
But I mean, I know you. I know you pretty well. You and I have done gigs together, and we hang out and we have lunches every now and then when we bump into each other. Isn't it frustrating for you when you know your essence, right? Because yes, you're a white woman in South Africa, but you're also the white woman who was making sure that your high school did exchange programs with township schools in high school. Do you know what I'm saying? No one has that wokeness so early in their life. But doesn't that frustrate you that you're constantly having to explain your black card to people?
Is explaining my black card a small price to pay for privilege?
Okay. Yeah.
Privilege is nice.
Yeah. It's
Privilege
nice,
is
yeah.
nice. It's nice here. And explaining myself every now and again is a small price to pay for having benefited from other people's suffering. So what? Sometimes it does get frustrating. Even in my spaces, people meet me, they think I'm a white woman, when really, sometimes I feel like I'm a man.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I'm a man. And then, not that, I'm not, it's not my sexual orientation.
You're not Caitlyn Jenner. You're
No,
not you're not like
this is not my coming out
transitioning.
party. I'm
You're
not
not
transing.
transitioning,
No,
okay?
no. But I do feel like I play a different role, much like you do.
Yeah.
I'm up before the sun comes up. I come home after the sun comes down. I'm out on the road on weekends. I make the decisions in my life. I play the male role in the patriarchal system in my own life.
Oh, yes.
And to many other people in my, in my space, in my family, and all the rest of it. So, and then also this white thing, which is look, I'm
Have
not
you
gonna come
always
here.
been like that? Play the male role in your life?
I've always been a bit of a tomboy.
Okay.
But I've never identified with gender politics as a thing. But I'm not out here like Rachel Dollars. I'm not trying. This is not an identity politics situation. All I'm saying is it's kind of complicated. When people meet you at face value, they're like, oh, there's a white girl from Pretoria. Now I have these preconceived ideas. Yeah, it's challenging, but sometimes I want to tell a joke, and sometimes a joke is really funny.
But sometimes it can't come from a white person.
Yes, unless you frame it with a whole bunch of stuff beforehand in order to get the audience to give you permission to tell that joke. And sometimes that takes time. So you can't sometimes just throw something out there. Like I was making a very facetious joke about someone, Glenn or Touch, I can't remember, one of the two of them had asked, saying about gaining complexion.
Yeah.
I know what gaining complexion means. It means you're getting lighter. But I was like, guys, but you can't gain complexion by getting lighter. And then Touch was WhatsApping me, Nina, complexion means, and I was like, hi guys.
Okay, it's a joke.
It's a joke. Also, I know this thing. You don't know that I know this thing. Like, you know.
I like what you once said about, now that you were on Privilege, about how if you hit rock bottom, you still have a chance because you've got a family member who's got a house that you can at least sleep on.
Exactly.
But for black people, some of them, if you miss a taxi...
Yes, that's a level of privilege. If a black person misses a taxi, they will lose their job, they will be homeless. It can take a person 70 chances to become homeless. You have to make, a white person. So a white person can make 70 bad decisions in a row before you get to homeless. You have to really have messed up pretty badly to be white and homeless. When I look at white homeless people, I'm like, what did you do, my guy?
Where were you? Where are your friends?
Where are your friends?
Where is your family?
You know what I'm saying?
And then with like blacks, you're like, just one taxi.
One taxi, my guy.
Do you have imposter syndrome?
Oh, yes. So funny. I knew that you were going to talk about this.
Because you know what? When I think about imposter syndrome, two people stick out for me. And it's so strange because it's two people who are really good at what they do that they don't need to have imposter syndrome.
Yes.
You and Kaya Dlanga.
It's so funny because he sometimes irks me because I see so much of myself in him. I want to punch him in the face.
Really?
No.
And you guys are short.
Yes.
Maybe you guys should get married. I can set it
I
up.
once flirted with him
And?
really hard, but Shaga was standing behind and blocking me.
Oh,
Anyway, so, okay, let me just get the definition. It's when you try and become other people to make people comfortable.
You do have that.
Okay.
Yes, I know you have that.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is, because I read that you said one of your greatest regrets is never getting a tertiary education, right?
Yes.
So in some senses, you feel that you don't deserve what you have because you didn't graduate or you didn't do this or you didn't do that. So instead of looking at what you have and knowing that you're talented and you've got the 10,000 hours to back it, you're always looking for reasons why it would be okay if you lost it.
So, okay, so in preparation for this interview, because I was like, actually this whole week, I've had a really challenging week. I constantly feel like a fraud. I constantly feel like this is not good enough. I don't deserve this. All of those things. Because there is so much to achieve. How can you be comfortable with just some, I've been on the cover of a magazine. So what? What have you done for humanity? Like, nobody cares about you. Yes, I need to establish Nina Hasty in order to do the things that I want to do. I haven't even started doing the things that I want to do. This is just the very, very beginning. I want to get into social justice programs. I want to that's the real plan.
That's the real plan.
That's the real
And it started
plan.
with wanting to be mayor, junior mayor in Pretoria, but the girl whose parents bought the lapa, she became the mayor.
You know?
Oh, we'll be back. And welcome back to Real Talk with Anele on SABC 3, where the stage is yours. But today, I have pretty much handed the stage over to this colorful crayon set happening here, okay? Miss Nina Hasty. So we're talking about how, you know, you've got imposter syndrome. And you're constantly questioning the things you have. But I also pick up a lot of gratitude from you. And funny enough, that's your ad on SABC 3 that's running, and you're talking about gratitude and gratitude. But doesn't gratitude stand as the polar opposite to imposter syndrome?
I think I live in a lot of polar opposites in my life.
Okay.
I'm often in like a dichotomous situation. I think we
what
live
situation?
dichotomous. I don't know what it means. Nobody knows what it means. I think there's a lot of like situations where there's two sides to me.
Which and fun enough, they're fitting.
Yeah, they are both fitting.
They're both fitting. Okay.
We live in a society that is quite bipolar. We live in a country that's quite bipolar.
Incredibly.
And we are swinging between like a this is my term, and no one wants to catch on to this term.
Try it.
Post-apartheid liptic? No?
No.
It's not gonna catch. Stop trying to make fetch happen, Nina. It's not gonna.
Fetch is not a thing, okay? It's not gonna happen.
So, no one's re-socialized us. No one has re-socialized us and said, okay, South Africa, this is what you need to do. You guys need to say sorry. A portion of this needs to go back to here. This is how we rebuild the country. This is how we empower poor people. This is how we get sanitation sorted. This is how we educate people, We're still like, okay, we're going to stay rich out here. Yay.
And we're all fine. It's just like everyone's
We all fine.
Head in the sand, everything's fine.
But also, my family's poor, but I drive a Maserati and like this. Oh, I'm pro-black, but also I'm this and I'm this. You know, like it's. We're confused as a people, and when you feel I'm very empathetic. I'm exceptionally compassionate, and I want to feel what everyone's feeling all the time, to the point where sometimes I feel everybody so much that it actually. I was about to say,
surely that can be detrimental to you when you. I mean, both sides. Once again, the bipolar thing. Like, if you don't feel at all, it's detrimental to you. But if you feel too much, it's also detrimental to you. So, what's your balance?
So, I've discovered this thing, guys. You know, it's very weird. My friends are like, "That's the whitest thing I've ever heard you say, Nina." But I'm into like all this Eastern healing stuff, kinesiology, feng shui, like all of this kind of Eastern stuff. And there's this thing that I've known about for a long time, and I've just recently started doing. It's like Tai Chi. It's called Qigong. It's like a energy management, like it's a martial art as well.
Okay.
Because I've always been into martial arts. Yeah. So it's a martial art that uses like Qi to center. It's like Qi means energy. So it's like you are centering your universal life force.
It's like meditation.
It's like a meditation, but you're using like movements and stuff to do that at the same time, and you connecting your meridians and you're letting the energy flow through you. Anyway, basically I started doing this thing. It helps ground me, and it's helping me feel less of these two things and less dependent on the energies around me and more dependent on my own energy and exuding that as opposed to being affected by other people. And it's great.
Okay. Because, I mean, when I hear you say that you were depressed at 15, I'm like, but how does a 15-year-old know
what
they're
depression
depressed?
is.
Okay, and I'm not writing
Alanis Morissette, I blame her for everything. It's the music we were listening to. Also, it was very in vogue to be depressed when you were young in the 90s.
Emo.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, is that, Nina, there could be a 15-year-old watching us right now.
Okay, so I make jokes.
And she's depressed.
We make jokes.
We're not making fun of your depression, but I just need to understand.
I suffer from depression to this day.
But okay, now you are, I don't know how old you are, 30-something. How do you know at 15 that you're depressed?
So I always knew I was a bit weird. I couldn't sleep at night. I used to listen to the radio for hours. I used to have these headphones and listen to the radio till early hours of the morning, wake up, go to school. I always knew that there was something a bit wrong. I used to feel, I don't know, I felt like I felt more than other people. And sometimes it would be crippling. Like, I can't breathe and I don't want to live anymore. It's the most, people think that that's like a self-indulgent thing. And I mean,
it's like anxiety.
There's a couple forms of things. So I haven't had an episode in maybe 4 years, and I had one about a month ago, because obviously I'm under quite a lot of pressure and a lot of stuff at the moment, you know, and there's certain triggers. So lack of sleep, when your diet is affected, when you don't get enough exercise, and then also like lots of work and weird environments. And I had an episode, but because it was so long ago since I had one, I didn't even recognize it when it was happening. And that is what is the most dangerous thing for young people. If there is a 15-year-old girl that's going through this and you don't know what's happening, you're short of breath, literally voices sound louder in your head. Nothing feels good. You can't breathe. You can't feel a reason for living. So this imposter syndrome, it might also just be a leg of a depression more than anything else.
Yeah.
But you've got to find ways, psychiatry, find a holistic approach to try and recognize when your system isn't right. Your baseline, David Kibuka speaks about this a lot. He's given me a couple of books to read, Jason Goliath. Your happiness standard, your standard should be happy. Your standard...
So things must happen that can either make you sad or can make you really happy.
Yeah,
but
your standard should be happy.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be sad. If your baseline is sad and that's your standard, there's something wrong. So something needs to be checked, because as human beings, we're supposed to be joyful.
Who checks it when you're 15? Who do you go to and say, I think I'm depressed? Who did you go to?
I think I went to the school psychiatrist or school psychologist at the time. I don't even remember. I think I went to the school psychologist. There was a lot of schools do have that. I went to my mom eventually. It's embarrassing, especially when you're an overachiever.
Is that not why you're depressed though?
Dude, I was good at everything. It was hard to... I think my marks started dropping in about standard 8 or 9.
Because?
I think I was too involved in other things and trying to run the school. But yeah, I think we live in a society where we're really hard on our kids, man. Like, we're hard on... What accent was that? Anyway, we're hard on our kids, man. We're hard on our
That's
kids.
your other voice came through to check your other voice. I like that. You've got like quality control, right?
Totally,
Yeah, it's
all
like
the time.
we never have to worry about it. I was like, Twitter, stand down. Twitter, stand down. She's got it. She's got it. I love that. So through your 20s then, and I know you said you lived a rough, wild time, right? So I know your eyes... I can't wait for your book.
Dude, it's going to be such... A friend of mine said, you know, one of two things are going to happen when you write your book. One, it's going to be a bestseller, and two, you're going to cripple the entertainment industry.
Yes.
I have stories.
Yeah.
I have stories.
Do you, when you are in it, and it's wild, and it's you know, you say it yourself, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. Do you know when you're in it that I'm actually in the eye of the tornado right now, and I'm having fun?
I remember one night I was in the circus. I was waitressing with all these people. We all wore these funny little outfits every night. So I think I had a red wig on, a little corset, a gown for some reason. I don't know why I was wearing a gown, but we'd gone to this certain nightclub in Midrand that never closes. And we'd had a cocktail of life-enhancing narcotics. And I remember someone found me on a roof. Like
a roof of what?
Like there was a wall in between the dance floors, and I had climbed onto the wall, and I was like conducting all the dancers. And I was screaming, I want more of everything, lots forever, wow! I was having this like moments. I just wanted to experience all the things. I wanted the fear, I wanted the pain, I wanted the joy, I wanted the music, I wanted the love, I wanted to experience everything. And to a certain extent I did. But there's I don't know who told me this or where this comes from. I think it's that famous author Anon.
Okay. Amazing person.
Yeah, I love that guy. And there's a thing about spirituality, and if you use drug, sex, alcohol to try and get in touch with your spirituality, it's like going through the window to get into a house.
Yeah.
You generally scratch yourself on the way. It's not a whole experience. You don't really.
And when you're in the house, you're unwelcome.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You use the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went to some Ayurvedic doctor. Anyway, long story short, when you really enter that house, that spiritual house, through the door, there is no supplement. There's nothing that can make you feel like content. There's nothing that can make you feel like content and belonging and purposeful and like that you're vibrating as part of the energy of life.
A one-word answer. I must go to an ad break. Are you in the house now?
I'm in the house.
She's in the house, y'all. Time for another quick ad break. After the break, we chat about Nina. We'll talk about her battle with booze, the healing, her being in the house, and staying in the house. Come back to us. And welcome back to Real Talk right here on SABC3 from Staying City. If you've just tuned in, my guest today is Nina Hasty, who has been sharing her life story with us about when things got real, like really, really real. So, you said that when it came to your sexual assaults, right? All you wanted was for somebody to say to you, Nina, it is not your fault. Who finally said that?
Sure, that's such an emotional trigger, hey? You know, nobody said it. Or maybe, I don't know who said it. I think I had to tell myself.
Maybe that's the point.
It took me 10 years to open up about that to my mom or to my family, to anyone, actually. I think I was, unless, you know those drunk girls in bars who's like, I was raped. Like, I'm sure I was that, but I blacked out, so I don't really remember. I'm sure I was that. Girls that take their problems to
It's like
bars.
there's absolutely nothing funny with what you're saying. It's so funny.
No, it's bizarre. You know what? People laugh to reassure themselves that life is okay. There's many reasons why people laugh, and sometimes it's just to reassure ourselves that we're okay and that we're alive. Okay. It's okay, we're alive, we made it through. It's because it was more than one assault.
I know.
Yeah, there was more than one
3
assault.
times.
But what happens is, the first time that it happens, your brain goes into that mode of, this is what I deserve. It doesn't just affect your relationships with loving partners, it affects the way you negotiate your job, the way you handle friendships, the way you negotiate the interest rate on your car. It's all about value. And that's what I'm busy discovering, and that's what I'm trying to write about. I'm trying to write a talk about re-evaluating yourself in a post-sexual violence situation, because that's exactly what happens. Your value system becomes warped. You feel like you constantly deserve to be treated in this way. Okay. You need to be robbed of your experience. Somebody needs to interfere in your life. I mean, I still struggle with that in loving relationships to this day. I mean, I'm for the first time in years single, like not kind of sort of seeing someone or there's something on the side.
Yeah,
or
not giving someone.
There's a little
like,
situationship.
Like, and funny enough, I was about to go into this because you wrote a poem called Validate when you were younger. And so not giving someone validation when they haven't earned it.
Yes. So earning comes back to value.
Yeah.
So earning and value, this whole concept of what earning and what value is, I'm only figuring out now that I'm in the house. And part of my recovery, it was 3 years and 6 months last week of my recovery. It's a big milestone, and it's like, I've only been adulting and taking responsibility for life for 3.5 years. Wow. That's not a long time if you think about it. I mean, that's not even a whole degree. That's like, it's a short time to be paying your bills, pitching up on time, having integrity, because these
not having to wake up and make apology phone calls.
Exactly. There's just, so I'm big on integrity. It's a big thing for me. And I've got lost. Where was the question?
No, value and earning. Because I want to say to you, so you wrote a poem when you were younger, and the poem was called Validate.
Validate. Something, choice of mate. What is it? I can't remember. Parking tickets and choice of mate. Yeah, I've always been obsessed with validation. And that was even before social media was a thing.
Yes.
How did you find that poem? Who are you? This chick.
I just found it. But because for me, it's like you write things on validation, and I can see it now that this is the first time, and you're right, it's been 3 years and 6 months, that you are validating yourself.
Yes, I'm validating myself.
And you are making people earn their space to be around you. Because you say it yourself that, you know, you had an issue when people didn't like you, and all you want to do is like, understand why they don't like you, and then you're going to make them like you, and then your entire night is based on this one person who doesn't like you.
Have you noticed how my Twitter feed has changed recently?
No.
I don't know. Okay, so I was like, I'm so scared that I'm going to say something wrong. What if I upset everybody? What if this goes wrong? What if... Then now I'm just like, I clap back, and but only when it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, not out of, I clap back because I have to validate whatever. I clap back because I don't feel the need to hold back in case I
upset
somebody.
Or someone stops liking you.
Yeah, or someone stops liking me. It's not about that anymore. I like who I am. When I breathe and I'm connected, I am who I am, and I'm okay with it. I've done dumb stuff. Everyone's done dumb stuff. Like, I've made very poor relationship decisions until even recently. But you know what? So does everyone else. You know what? The great position that I'm in, I take responsibility and I go, wow, that was some dumb-ish. You know? I don't want that anymore. Let's change the game. Okay, cool. Let me do this. How am I going to change that? Let me change my tack. Let me get a different result. But it's for me now.
Because I'm wondering how, you are on a show that is a panel. I mean, it's you, it's Pabi, it's Shaka, it's Kuli. And you're scared of your opinions when that show only requires your opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you... Is that why you felt you had to make this journey of not needing all that validation from other people and knowing that it should really come from yourself?
So much, life is beautiful. You are thrown into places where you learn the lessons that you need to learn. And you are sent the people who will help you learn that lesson, no matter what the situation is. Wow. And I'm learning lessons that I didn't expect from people that I didn't expect. And even in the situation where, like, why is this person trying to hurt me? Actually, they're not trying to hurt me. They're trying to defend themselves. Oh, that's what's going on. Whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's actually quite powerful to be able to pick that up. Because when you see things coming, because they're coming, you think they're coming to you, right?
Yes, it's got nothing to do with you.
Imagine you're walking on a pavement, right? And there's a person jogging towards you.
Exactly.
And you're just like, why is this person jogging to me? No, this is 2.5 kilometers for them. They're passing.
Absolutely.
And now for you to internalize the fact that somebody's charging at you.
Your hair is gonna fall out.
And your hair fell out, girl.
Honey.
How much was left?
There was one line here. I had to shave. There was like 1 or 2 patches. There was one weird line. It looked like a vein. I had to shave it every morning. Yeah,
was that nothing. From drugs? Was that from stress? What was that from?
Alopecia is a stress-induced autoimmune disease. Whether the drugs and the lack of sleep and the unattended nervous breakdown and the lack of self-love and et cetera, and running away from problems, plus my dad getting sick, a whole bunch of factors added to stress that was on my body, absolutely.
And I don't know, like, I've never, been a drug user. So I'm asking you.
I was never really a drug user.
Oh, you just did drugs?
My mom was concerned about this. She's like, Lovey, please, can you stop talking about this drug thing? I'm like, Mommy, I wasn't ever like a wake up and I'm going to go and sell this bowl for some drugs.
But this is what I was going to ask. Does the stress not come from not knowing where your next fix is going to come from?
No. I wasn't.
So you weren't there?
No. I was like a recreational. If it's going around, I'll get involved with that. My issue was more with alcohol, and even within that space, it wasn't every day. It was when I drank into a place that I couldn't remember anymore, and it hurt me, and it made me depressed for weeks afterwards, and I made a really bad decision so I was a binge drinker. And it helped.
So you weren't waking up and, you're a functioning alcoholic.
No.
You drank on the job.
No. I didn't hide. You've
got a brown
bottles.
bag in your blazer, and this is how you say hello to us. None of that.
No.
Okay.
But that does not mean that binge drinking isn't a form of alcoholism. And this is very important because South Africans as a whole are binge drinkers. And there are binge drinkers in your families, and there are people that are your friends and your colleagues that are binge drinkers, and they suffer from depression and they suffer from bad decision making, and that is a form of alcoholism, and you have to look after yourself. Guys, as a country, we are a national sport of binge drinkers. This is how we roll. It's dangerous, and it's good to recognize. Just because you're not hiding bottles doesn't mean that you don't have a problem.
It's so funny that you say we're a national sport of binge drinkers, because I literally wrote down here that I think you've got the green blazer in comedy. And we'll talk about that when we come back for the last time. And welcome back. We're still with Nina Hasty right here on SABC3, where the stage is yours. It's Real Talk with Anele. The first ever person to get a standing ovation at the Goliath and Goliath Comedy Club. Snaps for Nina, y'all. Snaps for Nina. So this is why I say, I feel like the things you've done in comedy, if we had to pick like a squad, right? Like, hey, guys, we're going across the world to compete against other international squads, you'd have a green blazer.
You think so?
You would definitely have a green blazer. Why are you questioning my statement? Yes, that was so accusing. Why are you questioning my statement?
It's like when my dad was watching the Oscar trial and he started like questioning me like Barry Rue. I was like, Dad, I'm not a murder suspect. I'm your daughter. Calm down. People get so caught up in that line of questioning. I think part of being a comedian, part of the genetic makeup of being a comedian is some sort of self-loathing. Like, if you don't hate yourself just a little bit, don't tell jokes. What kind of normal person gets up on stage in front of a bunch of strangers and tells them their inner thoughts with the possibility of them not liking it and them all just staring at you? That's insane.
That's somebody who
has a little bit of self-loathing.
There's a little bit of them that want to go underground.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Is that where you feel the most powerful?
There is nothing on this planet that I have experienced in my insane life quite like getting a standing ovation after telling jokes to people.
Because I remember when we did a comedy show together with like a lineup of women only, and you were the first one, and you got a massive standing ovation, and it was a crowd of 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying, that it's almost like you didn't expect it. I'm like, but you're so funny. Like,
it took so long for the industry to take me seriously, if that makes any sense. To the point where I'm still like, yeah, okay, maybe one day they'll let me in the boys' club.
Do you want to be in the boys' club?
That's so funny. I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah.
Who in the boys' club does a breakfast show, then goes and shoots a sitcom, then goes and does something on MTV, then goes to, host like a really big show on SABC3 called Trending SA, alongside Cooley Roberts, who's been in the industry for 25 years, Pabi Molloy, Shaka Sisulu, and Nina Hasty.
And then does the weekend at the Goliath Comedy Club.
Like,
or
it ain't no
hosts the
thing.
Johannesburg International Comedy Festival. Also, that's another thing. I got a bone to pick, right? People are like, please come back to comedy. Why have you left comedy? Guys, I did 6 enormous shows last month. I'm still doing comedy, very much still doing comedy.
Okay.
At the moment, it's very intense with all the TV stuff and all the radio stuff and all the rest of it. And it's going to subside from about July, and there's a one-woman show coming in September.
I know, the Nina Hasty Experience.
The Nina Hasty Experience is going to be a vibe. The name might change before then, who knows? But I think the Nina Hasty Experience is a vibe, eh? You like it?
You are pretty much
exactly, it is. It's like a hurricane.
I'm going to power through people that you work with, and you must tell me what you've learned from them.
Okay.
Glenn Lewis. It's early days, I understand.
It is early days. Glenn Lewis. What have I learned from him directly, or what I've learned from the experience?
Just the entire thing, breathing the same space as them.
Breathing the same space. That it's okay to own your opinion about your craft.
There was a curveball there in the end. About your craft was a curveball. Cooley Roberts.
remember everything.
Does she keep grudges?
Not that she keeps grudges. She remembers everything. She studied history.
Oh, there
She's
you go.
she's a historian.
Okay.
She will bring out a fact that comes out of this Rolodex of information that lives in her brain, and she just drops it on the table. No, but remember when he was the minister of this and like she
Yes,
has the
okay,
ability
you're
to
right.
connect
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
which is something interesting. She'd make a really good stand-up comic
Yeah.
because the mid-temporal lobe and the frontal lobe cortex, the passage between those two parts of the brain in stand-up comedians is very highly formed. And if you can access those two things, which is what she does, at a very quick pace, it makes for a very good stand-up comedian. Very boring stuff. Anyway, I'm filled with lame information.
Okay, Nina.
Okay.
Pabi Muloy.
Oh, she's so graceful.
She is, isn't she?
She's so
Like,
graceful.
Does Pabi ever lose it, like, where she like, and she shouts and screams and breaks things?
You know what the funniest thing about Pabi that I've learned is that we are so similar.
I can believe that.
We did a personality test. We have exactly the same personality.
Yeah.
She's just, what I've learned from Pabi is she's better practiced at being a public person.
But
Like what?
the
Like
poise.
this is what you need to know about me, and this is what you don't need to know about me.
Okay.
Whereas I'm like, yes, like yes, everything about me. She's much more graceful than I am.
It's because you were in the circus.
Yeah, fair
In the
enough.
circus, you need to give it all. Like, Shaka Sisulu.
Oof. How to charm,
It is quite charming.
how to charm and win the opinions of people in a room that may not even like you.
And how to be okay with it.
Oh.
If they don't.
If they
after
don't
that.
like you and still be okay with who you are. In fact, enjoy the fact that they don't like you.
You just
yeah. He's so comfortable with who he is. It's one of my favorite qualities about him. Like he is who he is.
Where is your mind the clearest? Where, like a certain spot in your little place where you can be as honest as possible with yourself.
In life or in my home or
Just just anywhere, like a place where you like, yeah, there. That's when I can be honest with myself.
I think because I drive a lot.
Uh-huh.
Actually, no, this is going to sound so crazy.
It better be quick because we've got literally 35 seconds.
When I'm shopping in the malls, I talk to myself.
Really?
Like a crazy person. You know
Like
those
groceries?
Like groceries. I love grocery shopping. I can grocery shop for hours, and that's where I like clear my mind, look at jars of things, because it's such a nothing thing.
True. And
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong way
There's
to do
no
it.
right or wrong. I'm just like, I love
I've
grocery
never
shopping.
actually thought of that. That like there's no right or wrong way to
Yeah.
do your groceries. It's your groceries.
Yeah.
So if you want to be right all the time, just go do groceries.
Yeah, and we love food.
Nina, thank you for coming here.
Anele, thank you for
This
having
was so
me.
much fun. That's it from me and Nina Hasty. You can catch her on Trending SA, SABC 3 weekdays at 9:30 and on Touch Central alongside Glenn Zito on The Expensive Breakfast weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. The rest of you will have to follow her on Twitter and Instagram at that Nina Hasty to get the 411. She is slaying everywhere and we love it. We are proud. We're very proud of
Thank
you.
you.
It's another long weekend, but of course we'll be here on Monday. What did you think? Like, we're going to take a day off from you? Never.